Hello, Fight Insight fans, viewers, listeners. I'm the Filipino podcasting machine, Prix, and with me, as always, Timmy B. Before we start, be sure to follow and subscribe to us on YouTube, wherever you get your pods, and leave 5-star reviews. It takes a few minutes, but it means so much to us. And also, please be sure to check out middaysquares.com and use the Fight Insight code Fight Insight 15 to save 15% on your first order. You won't believe how amazing these functioning chocolate bars are. On today's episode, we talk to the coach of the legendary Filipino powerhouse gym, Team Lakay, discuss the results of one FC Autumn Grand Prix quarterfinals, judging in MMA, and a whole lot more. Tim, hit it!
Yeah, it's Timmy B, Prix D, Fight Insight, yeah.
This is a big day for Prince and for us, but Prince is going crazy. Our guest today, he's a former professional mixed martial artist who began his martial arts training in kickboxing and taekwondo before joining the Philippine Wushu team in 2001, where he won a gold medal at the Southeast Asia Games. In 2003, he founded and became the head coach of the now world-famous Team Lakay, based out of Baguio, Philippines. The success of Team Lakay fighters such as Edward Foliong, Honorio Benario, and Kevin Bellingon have helped establish Team Lakay's dominant reputation on the MMA scene, especially in our favorite 1FC. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute honor to introduce a living legend of martial arts. Please welcome
Mark the Machine Sangiao!
Hey.
Hello.
Hey,
Good morning, Timmy and Prince D.
This
Timmy B and Prince D.
oh,
How are you,
Good
Mark?
morning.
Good morning to
I'm
you.
good. Good morning.
How is everything? And you are right now, you are in Baguio City, correct?
Benguet, Philippines. La Trinidad, Benguet, just near Baguio City.
Oh, okay, nice. And so, our fans, viewers, and listeners are so excited, but Prince is crazy. Prince is a huge Team Lakay fan.
Like, listen, guys, I don't, if listeners, viewers, if you guys are watching this right now, this guy right here is a living legend. This guy right here started MMA. I feel like this is like the number one Filipino MMA coach in the world, hands down. So you, coach, to be here and to be part of the show, it means a whole lot, especially for a lot of the Team Lakay followers that's watching this right now. This is huge. So again, I wanted to say thank you, Mark, and for taking the time to meet with us. All right.
It's my pleasure. Good morning to all who are watching now.
Thank you, Mark. Mark, for all the viewers and listeners that don't already know who you are, can you explain, how you got into martial arts and how did you get into MMA and develop Team Lakay?
Year 1996, I started playing kickboxing before. And after 2 years, I enrolled in University of Cordilleras, and I was absorbed as a Taekwondo varsity.
Okay.
And I'm a varsity there, Taekwondo varsity there, while playing kickboxing. And after a year, I was also selected as the Wushu national athlete. By then, training by 2001, I stopped my schooling in 2001 and represented the country in SEA Games in year 2001. And luckily, I got gold. And after that, I go back to school, stopped as a member of the Wushu national team, and I got back to school in 2000. After that, 2002. And I graduated 2003. After I graduated, I decided to go back in national team, but I don't want, since that time in 2001, 2002, while in school, I'm also teaching Wushu. They made me as a coach in school, and I produce a lot also of Philippine team, and maybe that's the time when I want to get back. They don't want to absorb me because I produce already a lot of Philippine team.
Okay.
But the fire is still in me. I want to fight. So at that time, 2003, there is a national promotion here, which is the URCC. So I decided to try, and by 2004, I became the bantamweight world, not world, bantamweight champion in that division. So by then, um, I inspired a lot of students. So I started by 2004. I started coaching also in mixed martial arts. So now, uh, by 2006, legally, we registered the Lakay, Team Lakay, Narsec legally. Then until now, that's the product, and that's what I inspired. Now we produces a lot of athletes and world champions.
It's amazing, Mark. For what does Lakai mean for Team Lakai?
For Lakay, literally, it means old man, but that's that's a Lakay means in in our local dialect we we uh, we use it as brother, means
Ah,
brother. So team of brothers, Team
oh,
Lakay.
nice. That's amazing.
So
But
in
coach,
northern part we usually use it as how are you Lakay? How are you brother? Or tol.
tol,
If
there
in
you go.
yeah in Tagalog tol.
Or kapatid, right? Kapatid.
Kapatid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Coach Mark, I think you forgot one thing also that's in your resume. You're also you used to be a former stuntman for ABS-CBN. You forgot to mention that.
Yeah, fight choreographer in ABS in entertainment, showbiz entertainment.
Do you still
Oh,
do some? Do you still do some stunts, Coach Mark?
Yeah, we recently we just have here in Cordillera. We have the Cordillera 1941 time of
Hmm.
Japanese, and where the actors here, the
Oh, nice.
stuntman and actors.
wow,
Oh,
nice. Excellent.
Yeah.
So when you began Team Lakai, how did it end up that you kind of created Team Lakai? Like how did you end up deciding, hey, I'm gonna open up my own gym and train? I mean, I know you were training at school, but did you just decide I want to do this for the rest of my life and I'm gonna open the gym?
Yeah, by 2004 until I'm still playing until 2009. We have Kevin, we have Edward, we have Jehe training with me that time. Then I decided by 2010, I decided to retire because here comes a lot of international competitions. We have one championship, we have Legend, the UFC. So I decided to concentrate and teach, coaching these guys, our athletes. So yeah, 2010. There's a time which I have to hang my gloves and start to train these, focus on training these guys, these
Okay.
champions.
And what do you find more rewarding? Do you find it more rewarding as a fighter, or do you find it more rewarding as a coach watching your fighters succeed?
Boss,
Yeah.
but but now before I'm enjoying, I'm enjoying competing, But when I decided to retire, it's for now, it's more rewarding. Uh, but before, when I'm starting coaching, I have this feeling that when your athlete will be fighting, it's better that I'll be going the cage rather than my athlete. I get excited and nervous that time, but now when times go by, I was used to it, and now I'm enjoying now coaching, producing athletes and champions.
and also, do you find that even now, with all the popularity with Team Lakai, do you find that more people are coming into the gym and there's more popularity, more people coming in and signing up?
Yeah, for now we have three gyms. We have in San Fernando, one in San Fernando, and two here in Benguet, at Trinidad Benguet. And now there are lots. Before we're just teaching, like these those who are passionate. But now we inspired, even the their parents are sending them, sending them to the gym. And yeah, we have now a lot of these kids, boys and girls coming in, signing and enrolling to our gym.
Oh, so that's nice. So before it was mostly for fighters, but
Yeah,
now
yeah,
you're getting more a wide variety of people coming in.
yeah.
Okay. Now, you speaking of children, your son is a fighter, and so how difficult is it to coach your own son, and what are the emotions you feel there?
Uh yeah, he just signed up this year to one championship, and yeah, sit down with him many times. Before, maybe 4 years ago, I sit down with him, ask him what his plan to his career or what his plan in his future, and he told me that he want to become a champion. I told him the consequences. It's really hard, it's really hard. Not it's easier, but told me that he want also to become a champion. He want to become like his brothers, like Joshua Pasio, Edward, Kevin. Uh, so okay, that's your decision. I have to support him. But of course, he's still studying, like us, like his brothers. They finish their studies while fighting, while competing in many competitions, not only in MMA but also in Wushu before. And now he's a member of the Muay Thai Association of the Philippines.
Oh wow.
He's a Philippine team member in Muay Thai. So, there are lots because sometimes people think that this is only fighting. They don't know the values that will help the personal growth of the people or if a person.
Yeah.
So, like me, if maybe if I'm not in martial arts, I grew up in the environment of drunkards, a lot of vices. So I don't know why I'm not in martial arts. I don't know now. I'm not. Maybe I'm not here. So going back to Janlo, as a father, I'm a father inside the house, but we're inside the gym. You have to follow my instructions. So I treat him like also my athlete inside the
Yeah.
gym. And yeah, he's enjoying.
Well,
Good,
but,
good.
And
but Coach
soon,
Mark,
maybe, yeah,
but, but it must be hard to see your son get hit. Like when you see your son get hit in the in the cage, right? Like what goes through your mind when you see your child getting beaten up in the world stage like that?
yeah, precisely. But that's what you, for me, my technique there is I have to treat him as a student when we're inside the gym,
Mm.
so that you forget that emotion.
Yeah.
So, so that's my technique when he is there. I have to treat him like an athlete. But yeah, uh, uh, it's sometimes, uh, but I know and I can see the progress in him,
That's
the
excellent.
help of martial arts in him, help of martial arts in him.
No, that's excellent. And Mark, before we get to some fan questions, a lot of your fighters are in 1FC, and 1FC is getting a little bit more popular here in North America. We're in Canada. We've been following along. I know that you've got Jenilyn Olsem on your team that was fighting. We're huge fans of hers. 1FC is a very respectful organization. Like they really seem to present a much more respectful product where they want the fighters to be honorable and present themselves in a certain fashion. Does that mean a lot to you versus like what you might see here in North America when it comes to UFC and Bellator, where there's a little bit more aggression or mouthiness?
Yeah, we've been working to one championship for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's when they started. We were already there. Edward Fulayang is the main event when they start, when they're starting. Then we've been working to them, and yeah, they're very they're very respectful to their athletes.
Yeah.
There were the time that Honorio Banario was lost for straight four losses, but they give him a chance until he regained, until he
Nice.
regained himself and winning. So that's what I like in one championship. Unlike, you know, for me, this is my opinion. Unlike UFC, we've been there. I have three athletes before. When you when you lose once, maybe that's the time they will get you out, you
Yeah.
know, or
Yeah.
one or two the straight loss, then you'll be out in the promotion. Unlike one championship, they will still give you a chance, and
Yeah.
I think that's. But of course, UFC is UFC, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what I like in one championship.
Nice.
But you know what? What I find with Team Lakai, you guys do your talking inside the ring. Like man, when Lito swings or any Kevin or General, when they swing at their opponents, it's like, what did they do to you, man? Like it was such anger. You know what I mean? And then after they smile, they hug, and but the whole time, your whole fight, like man, did he do something? Did he steal his dog or something or something? You know what I mean? Like, you see the aggression and you see the switch from smile to it's game over. I'm gonna take over and destroy. Right? Is that something that you install in all your fighters? I find like that's the equation for all Team Lakai fighters. Like, listen, get it done, aggression, put it all on the line.
Yeah, I think that's a difference to our Team Lakay athletes. Because when they speak inside the cage. That's just why, as you said, and that's why the name is Kevin the Silencer. We have also Stephen Loman the Sniper,
Yeah.
because they're not they don't talk a lot, but we're inside the cage. They're very explosive. They're very entertaining athletes. That's why they like also Team Lakay, because they are very entertaining when they go inside the cage.
Definitely, definitely. Mark, we went to the fans and we asked for some fan questions. So I'm going to ask you a few before we let you go. Is that okay?
Oh, sure.
All right. Our first one is from JC Oxina. He's at Easy on Instagram. His question, he kind of says, "Hello, Mark. I'm a huge fan of yours and the amazing Team Lakay. Does Team Lakay offer scholarships?"
Hello, AC. Good morning. Yes, we offer scholarship. Most of our athletes are scholars.
Ah,
Not only in the gym, but also in school. The scholars, but they represent the school once a year. We have competitions here. We call it the BBL, Baguio Benguet Educational Athletic Line. And you
okay.
present the school there, then you're free in your schooling. And as I said, even in our gym, most of our athletes are scholars. When I saw that you have potentials, I can select you as one of those scholars.
Oh, wow. Okay. Very interesting.
There's a reason why that is, right, Tim's and Coach Mark? I'll tell you why. It's because if they don't do well in school, these athletes will face the biggest opponents of their life, which is their nanay and their tatay. If you don't get straight A's, the amount of locks that they it's not even sanctioned, it's not even legal. Some of the locks in them, and my mom and dad, oh my goodness, like they should be in the UFC. Some of the locks that they've put me on, but I'm just saying, if straight A's, you're guaranteed a pass. If there's a B, if there's double parapol, there's a problem. I just let you guys know that. That's a little something the viewers should know about.
Mark, at Tony's_student, he asks, how much of a positive effect does ONE FC's hydration tests have on the fighters? Because I know, and you were just saying you've been to UFC and you're at ONE, but ONE has a different hydration test. So how does that impact the fighters?
I think it's much safer because when you have in UFC you have to cut 10 kilos, then
Yeah.
bring it back again. But in one championship, they have hydration test. You cannot cut a like 10 kilos, but for sure, if you cut 10 kilos, for sure you will what's this? You'll hydration test will not pass. So maybe you can just cut only like maximum of 2 or 3 kilos from your normal weight. So that's more safer for an athlete.
And so for those that don't know, Mark, me included, I know that there's a hydration test, but what does it mean? So after they weigh in, there's some sort of test they do to see what their hydration level is? Like, what do they do?
Come again?
Like,
Sorry.
sorry, how do they test the hydration level? Like, what kind of test is it? Blood test
Uh,
or?
urine test.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
after they weigh in, they have to do that.
yeah. At the same time, after weigh-in, then they will check your hydration test at the
Oh.
same time.
Okay. And so obviously you think it's better because without dehydrating, your body is healthier, you're better able to compete, or what makes it better? What is better?
Yeah, better for an athlete psychologically because when you cut a lot of weight, your mind is not stable, it's not normal already. Even your weight, a lot of athletes was hospitalized because they cut a lot of weight.
Yeah.
So I think this is much safer than
Nice.
than the old, that the UFC is doing.
Okay. And the last fan question is from our buddy Nick Tan. He says, do you monitor your fighters' diet and their drinking? Your gym is in Baguio, so it's a mountain city. It's very cold. There's usually lots of drinking.
Yeah. That's going back to the values that that martial arts teaching person. That's if you're in this level of competition, it needs extreme discipline. So you're disciplined not to, not to drink a lot. So maybe you have this. Okay, you can drink occasionally, but not all the time because this will you will suffer if you drink a lot. I know that a lot of drinkers here especially that we're here in the mountains cold, lot of drinkers. But if you're an athlete, you have to discipline yourself.
Yeah. Mark, Prince, do you have anything that you want to say before we go?
Well, yeah. Well, you know what? I just wanted to say, Mark, Coach Mark, I want to say thank you again for coming out and appreciate you taking the time. And I think the best quote that I actually got it from your gym, and you have it like plastered along the wall, and it says, "Champions are not born; they're made. Champions are made." And I love that quote just because that's what Team Lakay is all about. That's what the struggle, and also some of the fighters. I mean, I've interacted with some of the fighters. At Team Lakai, and the humbleness and the polite and being so kind, and nothing ever gets through their head, and they still bring on that Filipino the culture and that hospitality. So Mark, you're running an amazing gym over there, and we are massive fans. So thank you again for taking the time.
Thank you very much, Amy and Quinn, for inviting me for this interview. And it's my pleasure to talk with you this morning. And they also thank you very much for all the fans who are supporting our athletes. Thank you very much and take care. Take care, especially this time of pandemic. Take care, everyone. God bless.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Mark. And we hope to talk to you again, and good luck to all your Team Lakai fighters in the future.
Yes, sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Coach
Bye-bye.
Mark, take care.
All righty.
Oh, wow. You know what? A part of listen, if the viewers are, and sorry, also the listeners are listening into this, a part probably the reason why there was a lot of static was because there is a bagyo. There's actually like a storm that's happening in the background as well
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
I,
So
yeah,
he before we started recording, he said that he said a typhoon, right? He said
yep.
a typhoon or something is going on. So I'm sorry about the connection. We actually had to redo it like a few times. So I think his volume is quite low. So I
Mhm.
apologize. You're probably going to have to turn that up while you're listening. But
Mhm.
I mean, we were so happy to have him. Prince, what a cool guy. What a nice guy.
Like, listen, I'm so happy. Like, I can't believe we booked them, and hey, it's all about fight inside. We're all about resiliency. Despite there's a storm happening outside, we'll
Still
still fight
happens.
on, right?
Yeah.
We just make it happen. So,
Well,
yeah, that's
yeah,
wow.
Prince, I mean, it was so cool. I mean, before we move on with the podcast, I do want to take a moment. This is episode 30. And so it's a big thing for us. You know, we've hit 30 weeks, man. I can't believe it. I thought we were going to quit after a couple. So we're still here. I do want to give a shout out, though, to a company called Midday Squares. This is the first time we're talking about it on the podcast, Prince. Midday Squares. We want to give a shout out to these guys. You'll see this in your local grocery stores. It's in the fridge section because they have to be refrigerated. So they are, you'll see Prince and I eating them now on the podcast. These are the world's first ever functional chocolate bars. They're everything that a chocolate bar isn't and everything that a protein bar wants to be. It keeps you fueled, keeps you satiated so that you're not hungry throughout the day. It's a great snack to eat. And if you go to middaysquares.com, you can use the code FIGHTINSIGHT15 to save 15% on your first order, or just click the link that's going to be in our show notes. I definitely recommend it. Prince, we wouldn't be working with a company if we didn't think that it was something real. We've been trying it. We've been eating them. I'm eating the peanut butter one here. They are so good, man. Very, very good. It definitely curbs your cravings. And so, yeah, check them out. We'll leave them in the show notes. We'll be talking about this in podcast to go. It does help support the podcast too if you do purchase. So please do, Midday Squares. And thank you guys for working with us.
Yes, thank you, Midday Squares. And guys, if there's the flavor that I'd have to pick, it's the peanut butter one. Like the peanut butter one is so good. I feel like I gotta go stop and cook some rice because this would probably go well with rice. And
What are you crazy?
why not?
No, it tastes exactly like a Reese peanut butter cup. It's really good, man. I can't believe this is healthy for you, but it is. So it is really good. Friends, we have a lot of stuff to talk about.
Mhm.
We have to start with talking about the 1FC, what happened in the Atomweight Grand Prix. We are pretty depressed.
Oh my God.
Obviously, you know, the fights didn't go our way. Well, our way, like we're invested in it. But, you know, here's the 4 winners out of the first round. So we've got Itsuki Hirata that defeated Elise Anderson. It was such a close fight, a great fight. Elise Anderson rocked her in the third with an overhand, knocked her down. But unfortunately, it went Itsuki's way. Well, good for Itsuki. Ritu Fogat, Prince, you picked her to win. Man, she was getting murdered in the first round by Bo Meng. I mean, Bo Meng was all over her. Literally had her finished. If she had just kind of stepped back for a bit, I think she would have finished her. Ritu, incredible resolve, comes back and takes the next 2 rounds dominantly, like ground and pound city.
Yep.
Then you've got Stamp Fairtex, avenges the loss, Prince.
Yep.
Whew. Prince, that almost went the exact same way because Eliona gets her in the armbar in the third. And Stamp, I mean, who's a Muay Thai specialist, shows amazing jiu-jitsu to get out of that. And just very impressive. Great fight.
She did her homework, that's for sure.
Definitely. And then we get to Denise Zamboanga versus Sohee Ham. Prince, for those that didn't watch, and how dare you for not watching, Prince, do you want to walk through what happened in this fight?
Oh my gosh. All right. So Denise comes in. Oh man, that was a hard Friday. Like just like, watch all those fights. It was tough. Like, when you're just rooting for your family members to like, just take it, and then then it doesn't come out the way it should. But so basically with the Denise fight, I mean Denise literally every single round. I felt like she dominated everything. She was aggressive. She was striking. Her takedown was on point. Unfortunately, at the very last round, they suffered a bit of a cut, and so it's basically they had to step back and take some time and make sure that they stop the cut, and they go back at it. And at the very end, the decision came. Everybody was thinking, okay, hey, you know what? This Denise is going to take it. She's going to win this event, and it goes to Ham. So,
Well, you're missing a very important part here, Prince.
what's
That
very
it was an accidental headbutt that causes the cut,
Mhm.
right? So it's an accidental headbutt that causes a ginormous gash in
Mhm.
Denise.
Mhm.
It's pouring blood. They stop it. Like you said, they stopped it to look at it. It took a long time for them to look. I don't know. They never seem to tell. We don't know, but the ref never seems to tell the judges it's an accidental headbutt. So I don't know what the judges are thinking. I don't know if they think that Ham, rocked her and caused this giant gash.
Mhm.
The commentators during the pause in action, the commentators are like, whoa, if they call this fight now due to an accidental headbutt, they're going to go to the scorecards and for sure Denise wins. Like the commentators were like, okay, Denise is winning up to this point, which is like midway through the third.
Yep.
Then they restart it amazingly, right? Denise grabs her, slams her down harder than any of the rest of the fight, and goes to town on her, pouring blood all over Sohee Ham, who was wearing a yellow outfit, really cool yellow outfit. At the end of the round, Sohee Ham gets up. It's orange. Like,
Yep.
it is blood everywhere. Sohee Ham keeps like hitting her head because there's blood all in her ear from Denise just pouring it over top. And the decision goes to Denise. It goes to Ham.
Yep.
It was a very strange call.
Hey, listen. I mean, when that call, even right off the get, when they said, "Okay, let's resume fighting," Denise probably thought, "Okay, I need to make sure they know I'm winning."
Put the nail in the coffin.
Nail in the coffin. There you go, and takes her down. And so, again, I mean, now it's under review. I mean, no.
So Prince today, they've already announced. So this is what Prince was about to say, was that they Chatri, the owner of ONE FC, had reported that it was going to some sort of commission to review the fight.
Mhm.
They announced today the vote was 9-5 in Ham's favor to withhold the decision.
Yeah.
Podcast canceled.
That's brutal.
Yeah. So I didn't know if you knew that. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, Prince ED. Yeah, they decided that it was not something that they wanted to overturn. Mind you, I don't know why, but I saw a post from Cyborg who posted saying that it's like never the commission's job to overturn a fight or whatever. I think it has happened before, but anyway, so they did not overturn this, and unfortunately Denise lost. It was such a crazy fight. They did report today though that she is going to fight for a alternate spot in the tournament, which is weird because they already had a fight for an alternate spot. So I don't really know what the deal is there.
You know what? Maybe it's all the feedback from all the fans. Like their mailbox must be like blown to pieces because she is number one contender. She was
Yeah.
hoping for her to fight Angela Lee. I mean, I would have loved her. Her and Elise go at it at the finals.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing, right?
Yeah. Now, what is weird, Prince, is that not only that, but when we first talked about the tournament, we had the brackets.
Mm-hmm.
Then what they did is they turned around and said there is no bracket and that it goes to the fans to vote on the matchups for the semifinals. So on this post that I'm showing, and if you're listening on Spotify, on YouTube, you can always watch us. But so now you go to vote at onefc.com/vote and you vote for the matchups you want to see. And apparently, whatever the vote is, that's what's going to happen. So, Prince, I'm asking you, what are the two matchups you'd like to see in the semis here?
Oh my gosh. I think they're going to try and get Android 18 versus Rutu. That would be a really good fight because they both have that wrestling background, right? I would like to
Mm-hmm.
see those two go at it. And then Stamp and Ham. Um,
Striker.
striker, and it'd be a swing fest, right? That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, I would like to see that. Now, you know what? After seeing that fight with Harada, with Elise, wow, I didn't realize how strong her judo skills were, right, and her
Yeah.
wrestling skills were like just phenomenal. So I'd like to see her go at it
Yeah.
with Rutu. So, how about you? Who would you pick?
Yeah, it's hard, man, because you think like if it's going to be a wrestler versus a striker, you kind of always give the edge to the wrestler.
Yeah.
So if you do it your way and you go wrestler versus striker, your finals is definitely going to be wrestler versus striker.
Mhm.
And that may be too much of a foregone conclusion. Like you kind of almost like, okay, well, whatever wrestler's going in might win. I don't know. I might say, yeah, I don't know. I might say do Ham. Oh, it's so tough. I might say Stamp versus Ritu
Okay.
and
That'd be-
Ham versus Harada. I don't know. The only reason there is I'd say, Stamp just took out a really good grappler and see if she can do the same against Ritu, and then Ham and Harada. I don't know, man. It's a tough one. I don't know how the fans will vote on this, but it's I mean, and I don't know who the weak link is here. Like, even if you're, let's say you're from South Korea and you want to vote and give Ham the easier matchup,
Mhm.
I don't know which of these fights is easy, man. Anyways, great tournament though.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, all of these fighters have been doing their homework. I feel like everybody's kind of, sharpened up their game wherever they're lacking and came in ready to fight, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah, they executed the plans that they, whoever they were fighting, they had a plan set up for that person. Like, listen, I'm gonna use this against you, right? And so, yeah, it's gonna be exciting. It's just, yeah, it wasn't like the fairy tale ending that we wanted at Fight in Sight.
yeah,
We've got real soft spots for Denise and Elise,
yeah.
but they'll be
Well,
back.
yeah, they'll be back. They both put on great showings, right? And I think ONE FC is going to be happy with all the fighters in that tournament. Holy cow. That division is stacked. Great fighters, great personalities. They all put on one hell of a show, right? Like all of them put on a great show, great performance. None of them was a one-sided affair. So you've got these 8 women, aside from all your backups, B. Nguyen, Jenilyn Oslam, all those fighters that are in the background just waiting for their shots too. So a great tournament. But Prince, we must move on, and we must talk about the real news in combat sports. Dun, 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 dun. Do you know what's happening here, Prince?
Let's read this. I love great fighters and great fights. I look forward to seeing both this Saturday night, sharing my thoughts ringside. You won't want to miss this special event.
You could have read this louder for the audio listeners. My goodness.
Oh, my bad. Well, you can do it, but that's okay, so what's? Oh yeah.
Do you know what's happening here? Donald Trump, President Trump, is now the commentator for Triller Fight Club's event this Saturday, where it is Evander Holyfield versus Vitor Belfort. President Donald Trump is the commentator. Prince, this world is insane.
Yeah, Fight Inside podcast. Yes, unfortunately, this is what we have to cover now. We're covering.
Come on, this is pretty amazing, though. I mean, I will say that when Jake Paul fought Askren, I mean, one of the good parts about that I like is when Snoop Dogg is commentating and whatever, they pull out these funny commentators, which I do appreciate it. These guys aren't absent-minded to sports. Like, these guys don't not know what they're talking about. They know, they're fans of the sport. So to have these guys in, it's pretty fun. And I mean, you've got this circus now that is Vitor Belfort, and he's TRT'd up, baby. You see him?
Yeah.
He is juiced.
It's like
He's
before and after. Like, yeah, you saw that, out the window. No one's checking that pee.
There's no hydration test going on. He is back to like Vitor Belfort that we know. And Oscar de la Hoya is out for whatever reason. And now you've got Evander Holyfield coming in on short notice against Vitor Belfort. If that's not enough of a craziness, now you get President Trump as the commentator. I mean, magic.
Yeah, this is it's a fiasco. I guess
Take my money.
Take my money. And I saw a quote too, Tim. They're saying about this generation's boxing legends. So I mean, our great grandparents had Muhammad Ali, and then they had Mike Tyson, and then next they have the next generation was, or our parents would be like Floyd Mayweather, and then this generation's boxing legends would be Jake Paul.
Do you know how old Evander Holyfield is?
How old is he?
Take a guess.
60.
Oh, okay. You're close. He's 58 years old.
Oh man, I was going to say 59. Okay, wow.
I mean, but that's, rather old to go up against juiced Vitor Belfort. How old do you think Vitor is?
Oh, he's got to be maybe late 40s, 48, 49.
He's a young 44, Prince.
Oh, wow.
44 years old is not that far outside of your prime.
Yeah.
Juiced up, and you're fighting a 58-year-old Evander Holyfield. I don't know. Who do you have on this fight, Prince? Who?
You know what? Holyfield has been doing this all his life, and it's a boxing match. This is his realm. He knows it. It's not like he's during his retirement, he's not doing anything. He's probably doing, physical activity, and he's still probably still sparring or doing something in the gym, right? Boxing related. So I wouldn't be surprised if Evander takes this one too. I want him. I know everyone's like, yeah, they could be all juiced up, TRT, whatever. But I mean, again, if you're stepping into a sport that someone's built their whole career, their whole life on, I got my money on Evander. Who you got?
I got Belfort all day on this. All day. Oh my goodness. Against Oscar de la Hoya, I was even borderline picking Vitor, but now, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the size difference is between these guys, but I mean, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting fight. Look, that happens on whenever it happens. I think the 11th or the 12th or something like that. But we will see. I mean, yeah.
Did you hear about them possibly doing like a rematch with Holyfield and Tyson?
But did you see Tyson fight his last fight against
Roy Jones?
Roy Jones?
Yeah,
I mean, Tyson looked good.
Yeah,
he could have knocked out Roy Jones if he wanted to, but they were obviously being respectful. Roy Jones did not look great, but Tyson, I mean, he's aged, man. He's aged. I mean, he still looked great, but I think Tyson would beat maybe Holyfield. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen him, but Tyson looked pretty good. I don't know. We'll have to see. This will be a crazy fight, man. And with Trump commentating, my goodness. Triller, I mean, how much money does Triller have? We talked about this before, about all the money that they were spending. Where does this money come from? Goodness knows.
Listen, for
pretty interesting.
The former president to come in and commentate this fight, like that's huge. I just hope there isn't a riot that happens after.
Oh man, no man, the fans are going to go ballistic being happy about that. Apparently the fans were really excited and cheering when he came into the UFC event. He was at one of the recent pay-per-views, and Dana said, what card was it? It was one of the recent cards that the main event ended early, and because it ended early, they never got to cut to Trump being in there. But Dana White had said that, when he came in, the crowd was cheering, like blah, blah. So I think, your demographics or whatever. And the fact is, he's a former president, regardless of what your political thing is, right? Like, it's just kind of cool to see him. And I don't know. I think it's going to be bananas. But pretty crazy, man. So that is, okay, so I'm checking. That is September 11th.
Mhm.
Now, Prince, one thing I want to say to you, and I don't know, but if you have Fight Pass, you better be watching Fury 51 on September 12th, because our buddy
Hey.
Chris, how do I do this? Chris Wartime Rios, who we had on the podcast previously, he fights at Fury 51. We are wishing him all the best luck in the world, man. I want him to get that win. Yeah.
Solid. I
Good dude.
I wish they picked a better picture. It doesn't look like him.
No, it does. He's on. Yeah, I mean, no, it looks like him. He's good. He's got his little tattoo there. You can still see the faded tattoos around the neck and stuff. Yeah, no, it looks good, man. But so he's on. That's an early card. But if you have Fight Pass, check it out. Fury 51. And we, again, wish him huge luck, man. He's a great guy. So, Prince, I think it's about that time. We're going to go to do our fight on site.
Yes, our fight on site.
And our fight on site today, Prince, I do want to say I have won 2 in a row. I won the Groovy Lando Venata one. I won that one against Alexa Grasso, and I also won Barboza versus Jose Aldo. So 2-0 in the last 2 weeks.
Everyone's taking L's this week, man. Everybody, left, right, and center, like everybody. This is brutal. But no, I think this next one, I think I'm going to take it. I think I have a little feeling about this next one.
Today we are talking in honor of Mark Sangiao, who, as you heard, he has a son who's a mixed martial artist. We are doing, Prince, here we go, the Fight on Son, like father, like son edition. So we are picking 2. Now we're picking the sons. Is that what we're picking? Or we're picking the combo? Like
the combo. We'll do the combo.
So we're picking the okay. Obviously, you're doing that because of your pick, but because I didn't even know your guy had a son. Now I don't know what you're going to say about him, but you go first.
Okay, so my pick for father and son edition is the one and only Ken Shamrock and Ryan Shamrock.
This is the picture you picked, right?
Yeah, that's it. So what people don't know is that, okay, well, I mean, everyone knows Ken Shamrock, UFC legend. One of the first ones to show up in a UFC event. Also, first super fight champion as well, Hall of Famer. His son also started his pro debut in 2007. And also a really cool fact, Tim, is that in Cage Rage, it's a UK organization. Both of them actually fought in the same card. They were both in that event, and unfortunately, Ryan and Ken.
Oh, when was this? What year?
2008. Unfortunately, they both lost. Come on, man. We might have Ken show up to the podcast one time, but yeah, unfortunately they both lost. So Ken Shamrock lost by knockout in the main event, and Ryan was also TKO'd on the field. Come on, Tim. Whatever, man.
I love how this is your pick,
and then
you're highlighting both their KOs.
Because you know what? Listen, you're probably going to ask, "Hey, Prince, what's how did they do in that card?"
No, you should have brought up the card.
Well, I was preparing for it because I know you will ask, guys. You guys got to know about Tim over here. He will ask. You better be prepared with the answers. So
yeah,
but that doesn't matter. It's Ken and Ryan.
So what is Ryan Shamrock doing now? Is he still fighting or is he recovering?
No, he's still currently in the card. I mean, he's not signed to UFC yet, but you know what? He's still an MMA fighter. But in terms of where organization he's currently at, it's still unknown. Yeah. All
right.
Ken is Ken.
When was the last time he fought, or where?
Let me do the little research over here. I was hoping you were going to ask all these questions.
Oh my goodness!
Because his record wasn't. I was like, oh god!
Oh my goodness! And this was your pick. Okay. Yeah. You should just like wave the white flag now, because you ready for this, Prince? Prince D? for the viewers and listeners, for the people only on audio, you're about to see two beasts, Kimbo Slice and Baby Slice. Look at the resemblance here. Kimbo Slice, Baby Slice. It's three peas in a pod, Prince.
Listen, I knew you were gonna pick this guy. I wish.
Of course, he's my namesake, baby.
I wasn't gonna, man. I was like, oh man, I hope he doesn't Google it and see these two together because I know it's a guaranteed. Man, I'm gonna
Kevin Ferguson Jr. For those that don't know, the son of Kimbo Slice. Of course, everybody knows Kevin Ferguson Jr. Baby Slice. I mean, what a wicked nickname this guy has. But Baby Slice, he's fighting in Bellator. He hasn't fought for a while, but he's a great fighter. Much more of a ground fighter, much more of a jiu-jitsu based type fighter. And hey, he's got the lineage, man. The guy's a good guy, seems like a great guy. He does a lot to honor and respect the memory of his father. He does charity work and stuff like that. So great guy, man. But Baby Slice, that's my pick. It's all said and done, Prince. I mean, people aren't even going to know who your guy is when they come to pick. That said, Ken Shamrock, if you'd like to come on the podcast, we would love to have you. But Prince, people can come to our Instagram stories on Saturday to vote for the winner. You can pick between Kimbo and Baby Slice versus the Shamrocks. And I think we know how it's going to go, Prince.
Yeah.
Slaughter.
It's going to be, man. Whatever. It's all good. It's all good. Listen, the champ has to retire one of these days, and it was a good run.
I'm going to have won 3 in a row, man. That's going to be the greatest thing of my life. Prince, I do want to say happy anniversary to me, to my wife and I, celebrating our 1st year anniversary. So happy anniversary, honey. We are, married during the pandemic, Prince, and here we are. But it's 1 year already. I can't believe it. We're going to be celebrating our 1 year anniversary, Prince, soon.
Congratulations, man! I'm so
Thanks,
happy
buddy.
for you guys. And
Thank you, man.
So
you will not see me at the gym this week. We're going to be celebrating. Prince, anything that you want to say before we go? Would you like to announce next week's guest?
Oh my gosh, it's happening!
I can't believe this is happening, guys.
All right, listen. So next week's guest, we have the one and only. Oh my gosh. Ricky Hadouken Torcios. Oh man. Guys,
so for those of you that don't recognize the name, he also goes by Pretty Ricky Turcios, thus me doing my little symbols. He's the winner of The Ultimate Fighter, who just won, what was it, 2 weeks ago? 1 week ago?
Yeah, I think
2
it was
weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. But guys, he's retired the Pretty Ricky name. He wants to go by Hadouken. This guy is a solid guy, and half El Salvadorian, half Filipino. So it's a big
trains at Team Alpha Male.
Yes.
So lots to talk about with him, man. This kid, when his post-fight interview in the cage, what an inspirational guy, man. Like, I mean, his fight was incredible. He's a great fighter, but his post-fight is what made me fall in love with the guy, right? Like, he was just such a humble, respectful guy. He took time to say, hey, we are all one, all one people, and be good to one another. Like, he really took his moment to not focus on him, but to focus on the importance of humanity. So great guy.
Yeah, and you know what? They should just call him Ricky the Preach, because man, he preached. Like he was out there in front of the camera, and everyone was like, "Wow, this guy really did it." Usually you have the you know what? I worked hard. I'm here. The typical after interview fights. But with him, it was just like, wow, that was inspirational. People that blew up. I actually wonder how many followers or his Instagram followers exploded at that time, right?
Yeah, you know what? I'll check with that Instagram page that we utilize sometimes, that MMA_gains. I'll check on that for his interview next week. I'll take a look and see how much he's grown. But yeah, what a great guy, man. I don't know, training at Alpha Male, those guys all seem like nice guys, right? So killers, but also very respectful. So we'll see what the story is there. Prince, before we go, is there anything else that you want to say? Anything that you want to talk about?
Okay, guys.
Good
Well,
on time.
listen. I mean, before we go, I just want to say you can follow us. Okay, follow us, subscribe at YouTube Fight Insight Podcast. Leave a 5-star review. That would be very helpful to us, and we would appreciate it. If you guys want to leave a comment, we will get to you. And again, Fight Insight Podcast and YouTube. You can follow us on Instagram, Fight Insight Podcast as well, and you can listen to us at Fight Insight Podcast at Spotify. Okay, so wherever you get your pods. So listen, I'm an automatic machine. So Tim,
Drill it.
congratulations to your anniversary.
Thank you.
And looking forward to the next podcast. 3-0, baby, 3-0.
I can't believe it, man. 30 episodes in the bank. I do want to give a shout out. Today, this is my third podcast of the day, man. We recorded, before we go, I do want to say we recorded another podcast that we're releasing in October. That one was with Lupi Godinez. If you're on our Instagram, you would have seen we were looking for questions. Canadian Mexican UFC strawweight. That interview went amazing, Prince. We were so happy with her too. Mm-hmm. So we did that one, and then I did another podcast with it was a meditation podcast, and it was interviewing me. It was a guy named Guy, and he runs a meditation podcast. He asked me to come on. We talk about martial arts as a form of meditation, and also podcasting as a form of meditation. So that was great. So man, I am podcasted out, my friend. That's 3 in the books. Thank God for my midday squares, kept me going throughout the day, but I am beat. I am out of here. Last thing. Congratulations to Jeon Kim. Yes. We interviewed her. She did not, unfortunately, get the win, but she did get fight of the night. So Jeon Kim, we support you. We're always fans of yours. You put on one hell of a fight, man. And to get fight of the night on that night, Prince, when there was a hell of a bunch of good fights, really awesome for her, man. So I'm happy. I think she's pretty upset about it and stuff, obviously, as you would be, but we do wish her the best as well. Prince, I think that's it. I think we've gotten everything out now that we should have. I can't believe we got to speak to the coach of Team Lakay. Yeah! Dream come true for Princey. Right around now, you're going to start seeing links for our other podcasts that if you haven't checked them out, check them out. You can subscribe to us somewhere on one of these buttons up here. Aside from that,
take care, Timmy. You enjoy your weekend, buddy.
Have a good one, man. Take care, my friend.